Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Today's subject is just going to be a sad subject. We're going to be talking about the American airline crash with the Black Hawk. Now, if you guys don't know, I fly. I have my pilot license, and when this happened, I don't know. First, like obviously, my condolences to everybody who's affected. It's a tragedy, and but why am I talking about it? You know, I'm pilot license, and this is honestly something to remind me when I did my first solo. If you don't know what it is, when you have a pilot license, you fly, and I fly here in Southern California, so it's kind of a really busy airspace. We have LAX airspace, and I do recall really clearly I was flying coming back, I just mm, got landing in the KTOA, that's Lawrence Airport, and I do recall I was flying over to Queen Mary, and I remember there was a Black Hawk underneath me, and I had no idea it was there. It doesn't show on the transponder. They don't have to show. They don't have to declare their presence. I didn't have any uh, SoCal approach and mention anything, but they were way below me. I mean, there were no effect to me, but I didn't see them on my instrument whatsoever. So basically, long story, what I'm trying to say here is there are rules when you're flying, when you're approaching a busy airspace. So I was just gonna break it down for you guys a little bit. Um, mm, you know, every aircraft has transponders in it, right? And, they basically beep and let you know what they're at, their altitude. It depends how of a complex a machine you're flying. I mean, if you have an old airplane, and I'm talking about like single engine old airplane, some of them might not even have any transponder, but you do need transponders to get close to a very busy airspace. Now, Southern California is extremely busy. We have multiple airspaces. We have Long Beach airspace. We have LAX airspace. So transponders are a way of letting air traffic control and approach know. Approach is think about it as just the airspace control by the FAA. They basically give you directions. They control the traffic in around busy areas, and they'll guide you if they want. Sometimes they drop you. They don't have to. If they're very busy, they might just say VFR. Flight following terminated. Fly VFR. Basically on your own. Just keep your eyeballs open. That could occur. Now, as you get close to a major airport, uh, it gets very controlled. You have air traffic control and you have approach. You have everybody working together to make sure that you in and out of that airport as efficiently as safely as possible. And if I encroach toward a Bravo airspace, they have ways for us to fly over a very busy airport. And the way we fly over a very busy airport is called special flight rules, which is basically a corridor, is a narrow corridor. They can fly over the airspace. Can you imagine airspace is like a big bubble? They refer to it, when we're taking our exams, as an upside down wedding cake. But for the sake of just simplicity, just imagine airspace. Look above you. You can't go over here. But as a channel, you can go through, right? And usually you have to put a certain frequency and a certain altitude and, whichever way, northbound, southbound, different altitude, obviously, so you don't collide with each other. But the point is, we don't approach the entry and the exit. What do I mean by that? I mean, basically the runway. Can you imagine a certain runway and certain bearing? Planes are, they're on their final, right? They're about to land. Nothing should be in the way. That's why we have, even on the tarmac, on the runway, we have something called hold short, right? You don't even many times, right? I'm about to take off, but I have to get clearance from tower, right? And even let's say I'm flying at a small, even if I'm flying at a very small airport that doesn't have a control tower, we need to look, and we're on frequency, and we all talk to each other. We other airplanes. So if I'm waiting to take off, another airplane is coming to land. I wait and I look at them. I see them. That will declare, okay, I'm on, I don't know, base. Okay. Usually I just chill. Like I don't hurry up. Aviation is all about safety. Like chill out. Let's not get in each other way. You know. But sometimes tower, if you at a tower uh, airport, that will tell you sometimes expedite. So what I'm trying to get to with the whole story with what happened is that you have a collision between. Oh, and we also have priority. If you are flying a glider, you have the right of way. Basically, the slower, the less maneuverable you are, the more you have a right of way. An airplane could get out of the way of something slower. Now, what has occurred was the Black Hawk um, literally came into the path of an airplane attempting to land. It's on final. Um, that is just a mix-up. That's just a mix-up, obviously, right? That's very unsafe. That's not something that should happen. And it was very tragic because when you're on final, you're very vulnerable. Now, when you're flying a small airplane like this one I fly, I fly a very small airplane. It's like a single engine airplane. Although I have my multi-engine, but the plane I fly is a single engine, and it's instrument rated. But the point is a Cessna. So the point is, you don't. It's easy in the Cessna to just give it power. And so if you have a more powerful engine, you could also like maneuver out of the way. But that is just something that is extreme, and that's an incident, right? If it didn't cause, let's just say somebody encroached on the runway when I'm about to land. That's, you probably usually get a number. We say we get a phone number, so tower will give you a phone number, right? And basically say contact this, and usually FAA, and you have to explain yourself. Now, obviously, what occurred was loss of life, damage to property, and it's just a tragedy. So everybody involved, it's awful. It's awful for the traffic control, for approach, for everybody. It's just to this is everybody's worst nightmare, and mm, something that shouldn't happen because again, although that military aircraft, they don't show on the radar. We have ADFC. We basically have different transmitters in an aircraft. Military have their own transmitter. They have their own signal. They have their own frequency they use. They don't show up on civilian. I never once, Camp Pendleton, I flew over a million times, and again, we know when there's activity because they will mention it, pilot, usually we have notification, NOTAMs, and notice the airmen, basically letting you know, okay, we have activities occurring in so and so airbase at a certain altitude, usually let you know, okay, be aware. Um, but I can't imagine they having activities right on the final approach of the runway. Now, maybe there was a path they took when the runway was not in use. It's not how should I say? It's not illegal to cross a runway. It's okay to cross the runway when you have permission to cross the runway. When it's an active runway, especially on an airplane on final. Uh, that was a mix-up. So the end of the day, it's really sad. I just want to put some light to it. Uh, I just have this worked under in the background, just showing an aircraft. I love aviation, love flying. And it's accidents do occur. Aviation learns from accidents. Seriously, like every single safety measures you have on an aircraft was unfortunately an afterthought after a tragedy occurred. So, yeah, it's just the end of the day, just don't lose faith in aviation, of course, and it just it's really sad, but it's a sobering. I flew this morning, and it's it's I always remember to not take anything for granted. Flying, again, this is an airplane. I always make fun of people. When I playing games. I always mention altitude, but honestly, aviation is all about safety. Safety is number one in aviation. You know, and what has occurred is obviously the this is really awful. It's obviously uh, probably gonna be a huge investigation, and details. Everything has black box and transmitters and not. And so in conclusion, can an airplane avoid a helicopter in the middle of the night? If you're flying instrument, usually looking at your instrument, and these things don't appear. Military aircraft don't have to always appear. So that's explained maybe why the pilot didn't see it. Second, jet engines are not as responsive as a single engine, single prop, even turboprop. They're not as responsive. You can't just give it full. It's not like a video game, right? It's not like these games when you just give it power and just move out of the way. It takes a minute for things to occur. Um, and you also your airspeed is low because you are on final approach. It's if you never flew, it's um, landing and takeoff is the most dangerous. I personally think landing, and takeoff also. Yeah, both are time to be quiet and focus. And I bet you every pilot in this incident was paying attention, but I don't know beside that. Uh, I can tell you that from my experience, when you're landing, your eyes are on the instrument, and the fact that in City Hilo it probably blindsided them, came from the side. They're looking at the numbers. The numbers are basically the runway lights. They're looking at their approach, too high, too low. Uh, those are obviously more sophisticated aircraft, or maybe they're on some kind of a using autopilot. I don't know all the details of that, but regardless, being sideswiped is something that you obviously think about, right? You look at runway encroachment, you look at maybe something, but it's you have very little amount of time to react at that point on when you're on final. So it's just sad. It's a very sad incident. So, anyways, I just want to make that video, and I know I'm using War Thunder in the background, but again, it's just really sad, and eh, anyway, my thought and prayer for everybody involved, and again, we just hopefully we learn from this tragedy, and that's all, folks. Next video will be better. We'll do other stuff, lighter stuff. But anyway, that was it. That's all. So, anyways, take care, everybody, and just be nice to each other. That's all. Take care. Bye bye.